Hi there, just want to make a quick video while I'm in the mood. I want to talk a little bit about the nature of our rights and where they come from. In particular, what's been spurred on by the recent events in the news have caused a lot of talk about the Second Amendment and gun rights and gun control and that kind of thing. So, in all of that, there seems to be a big misconception about the nature of our rights and where they come from and what the Second Amendment actually says and what it actually is. People try to move commas and say that it means different things, and it really doesn't matter because you don't have Second Amendment rights anyway. The Second Amendment does not give you any rights. The Constitution is very clear about this. We don't have rights given to us by the Constitution or by our government or by our legislators. Our rights we already have. The Constitution says that we receive those rights from God, that as human beings we have those inalienable rights innately. And the Bill of Rights, as an add-on to the Constitution as amendments, merely says that in addition to the rights we already have, the government may not pass any laws that limit said rights. So you have the rights already, the Constitution would say, and the Bill of Rights is simply the government may not limit these rights. So and what the Second Amendment says is that the right to bear arms may not be infringed. In other words, it may not be encroached upon. It may not be approached by the law. Now, we already have laws that limit what we can have, what we can do with guns, what we can possess and where we can take them. And those, all of which, are infringements of the Second Amendment and really of the Constitution itself. Any law that limits guns in any way is an infringement of the Second Amendment because it says the government may not make any law that infringes that right. Just like you can't have a limitation on your freedom of speech. You may not say things negatively about the government. Something like that. That'd be a limitation. Well, nobody wants to have limitations on free speech, but we can have limitations on other inalienable, unapproachable rights. It's a bit strange. But the Bill of Rights and the Second Amendment don't give us any rights. We already have those rights. As it says in the preamble of the Bill of Rights, which I have just here, the conventions of a number of states having at the time of their adopting the Constitution expressed a desire in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added, and extending the ground of public confidence in the government will best ensure the beneficent ends of its institution. That's the preamble to the Bill of Rights. This is what the Bill of Rights is for. It's not to create rights for you. You already have those. The Constitution says that God gave you those rights. So you don't have any rights, even if they abolished the Second Amendment. It wouldn't change anything legally, because we still have those same rights. The Second Amendment just says the government can't limit those rights. Obviously, this should be readily apparent. But for some reason, we tend to think that an amendment gives us rights that we already had, and the Constitution says we already had in the first place. The thing is, it goes further than this. You've got the Constitution says that you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Everybody knows that. But we don't have the right to defend those somehow. See, the right to life implies the right to defend that life. The right to liberty implies the right to defend and protect that liberty. The same goes for your pursuit of happiness. But more importantly, more succinctly, for life and liberty, in order to have those and for those to mean something, you've got to have the right to defend them, which is what the Second Amendment is about and what the First Amendment's about. Because if the First Amendment had any kind of limitations to it, you would have less right to life, less right to liberty, because you couldn't defend them. It all fits it together as one piece. And if you take away your defense, good luck defending with words something that an oppressor is coming to take with guns. if the enemy has guns, and in this case the enemy, I mean the Constitution says the whole purpose for the Bill of Rights is to limit our own government from infringing upon our rights. The whole purpose is to keep our government from being the enemy. And more it seems like that's what's happening. But when the enemy, in this case maybe our own government, comes in with guns, how are we supposed to defend with words? How long will we be able to defend with words? First, the Second Amendment, or, the right to defend. Maybe next it'll be the right to communicate, the First Amendment. But who knows? Anyway, the Bill of Rights doesn't give you anything. You had it already. Constitution says you get it from God. Of course, people would, debate that anyway. But thank you for listening.